ready to talk about the fourth lateral exercise. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you introduce it and how you do it and your body position. So we talked about the leg yield, we talked about the shoulder in, we talked about the haunches in. The next one in that logical step is the half pass. So the half pass is basically the idea of haunches in on the diagonal. And so this horse is kind of learning the half pass. He doesn't have his down pat, so I thought he'd be a good horse to show you on because he very well might make mistakes. And not just make mistakes because I'm dropping the reins and talking to you and then picking him up to do something with like Teddy, who knows all the lateral work really well, but sometimes, you know, he gets standing around and then he doesn't want to come back together and, you know, it's very discombobulated. But with this horse, he actually doesn't know the exercise really well. So it's a good one for us to talk about and demonstrate on him. And so what it is, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down in that far corner because I'm going to be then coming toward the camera. And basically, you're doing the haunches in on the diagonal. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll come down center line and I'm going to point my horse's chest as if I was going across the diagonal. And now I'm going to ask for haunches in. And there's your half pass. So what are the mistakes that happen? One, your horse doesn't know how to do haunches in. But two, there's a couple things. If you see how my horse is positioned, his chest is going toward the wall. And then he's doing haunches in. It's like his chest is pointed toward the letter. Say that's F. His chest is pointed toward the letter, like his sternum is pointed toward the letter. My sternum is pointed toward the letter. He's bent left and then he's doing haunches in, okay? So sometimes what people do, and let me come back across on that diagonal and kind of show a couple things that go wrong. A lot of times people have the horse's chest facing straight, so they have it facing toward A or toward C, and they don't actually have, they don't have the bend. And let me show you what that looks like and how that's different. So now my chest is facing toward A and his nose is facing toward the letter, but his chest is not. And now I'm doing haunches in. Okay, so if you see that his chest is facing over this way, not facing this way, and that is wrong. If I come out of this corner and I'm going to, now I've got a longer distance, and see how much his sternum has to face that long side, and now it's much steeper and much harder on him to do this. This also keeps the haunches from leading because, and that's another problem that we'll have. When I get here, I'm actually going to straighten and push his haunches to the long side and then keep going. Okay, so a lot of people don't finish. So that's a problem number 3. So problem number 1 is they don't have the sternum facing to the letter that they're trying to go to. So the next problem that you see is that people come out and they lead with the haunches. Now, if you were standing over there, you'd see I was leading with the haunches. My haunches are actually before the shoulders. Okay, so that's a problem you don't want to do. And you really kind of correct that with this idea of the shoulders go first toward the letter and then you go into haunches in. So when you're going toward, you set yourself up that the shoulders are now headed toward the letter and then you add haunches in and then you don't lead with the haunches. The other problem is that you see, let me get back on track here. So I'm in the half pass and people get, and then they come here, they don't finish the half pass, and now look where my haunches are. They're actually to the inside a little bit. So you really want to make sure, and that wasn't the greatest because we kind of started weird, but you really want to make sure that you finish your half pass all the way to the rail change the bend and actually push them to the rail. Don't have it to where they end the shoulders on the rail and then you end the half pass and you haven't actually finished it with the haunches, okay? So you want to make sure that when you're coming toward the rail and you're bent like this, that you change the bend and push those haunches to the rail, initiate the new bend, and then keep going. Come through the corner, okay? Now I'm going to pick the letter and I'm going to point his chest to it. So let's walk toward the letter. And now I'm going to ask for the haunches to the left, okay? And there's my half pass. Come, bud. And I stay on that line. I stay on that line. I know the bugs got him tossing his head a lot. I stay on that line. When the shoulders get there, I change the bend, push the haunches to finish it, and then I go off in the new direction. Point his shoulder and then add the haunches in, okay? There's our half pass. That sternum is going toward. I'm going to finish and then change the bend. Center line and do your half pass because you don't have as far to go, okay? Straighten and keep going. And same thing, we'll come down center line this way and half pass right, sternum to the wall. There we go. Sternum, half pass. Now I'm going to go straight. Turn so you don't have to do a flying change. Sternum, half pass. Straight. Yeah, good. Sternum, half pass. Straight. I guess one of the things that we should talk about is what is your positioning for half pass? Because it is, first of all, the horse is moving in the direction that they're bent. So in the leg yield, they're bent right, moving left. In the half pass, they're bent left, moving left, okay? And so you are a little bit positioned like shoulder fore left. So when you come out of the corner and you point, hey, stand still, and you point your horse's sternum toward the letter, you're pointing your sternum toward the letter, even though it's like you're riding the diagonal, you're riding toward the letter. So you've got a little bit of like shoulder forward to the letter going on. And then you bring and your inside leg is at the girth because that's what's telling the horse to bend. So this is my left leg in this direction. Then just like in the haunches in, my outer seat bone, my right leg's going to come back and my seat bone is going to come back to like that 5 o'clock spot so that it's coming in toward the spine and back, right? That's how my seat bone's going. That's why my right leg is back and wrapped around him to bring his haunches in so that when his sternum points that way, he's in, haunches in. And that's your positioning for the half pass. Okay? And one of the nice things about working on the lateral work is you find those evasions and you have now some tools to work on them that can really make a huge difference in the way your horse uses his body, and the gymnastability of dressage is all in this kind of work. Okay guys, great seeing you. See you next time.